Hello and welcome to another edition of Stock Watch. So, as a new trading week begins, we have yet another new tweet from Donald Trump on his Twitter account, and this is in the form of the fact that he thinks he has won the election. Now, going forward with Twitter, if President Trump is not elected president by the Electoral College voters in January and not given the certification by the president of the Senate, then what will actually happen to Twitter? You know, Trump has quite an active following on Twitter. He's very active in his tweets as well. He doesn't usually hold anything back neither. So this is what gets a lot of attention from not only the public, but from the media itself. But so what will happen when if he is no longer president, should I say? Well, basically, he won't get any special privileges from Twitter. Now, Twitter have been very tolerant on what he has been saying and posting over the last 4 years. They have not yet made too much of a example of him if he has tweeted something very derogatory about someone, but benefits will not continue and he will not receive any special treatment if he does lose the election. So basically, if someone breaks the rules by posting content that is not viable for Twitter, then the company obviously has the right to suspend or even cancel their account. So that will be the choice if he leaves the Oval Office, either tone down the language or face a prospect of his hugely influential following being taken away from him. So we'll have to wait and see how that will affect Twitter in the foreseeable future. So over the next couple of months, it'll be very, very interesting to see if they lose a bit of their market share and price because of that. Another company that I touched upon last week was Facebook. I've been keeping an eye on them because their shares fell by more than 5% last week. There was no confirmed reason for the shift, but they expect that some investors were just selling off in the tech industries that have benefited most from the pandemic. So the company did struggle to maintain the pandemic as homebound customers were spending plenty of time online. However, they were not really buying anything, and so there was a reluctancy to pay for advertising because of that. So we'll have a look on the charts shortly about this. But, you know, Facebook, as most tech sector companies, did have the great rebound in the second and third quarter of the year. Facebook profits were up 29%, for example, in that period. And over the past year alone, their price has gone up by 43%. Recently as well, the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, has sold close to $50 million worth of stock in the past week as part of a trading plan. So he wants to buy more options to buy more stock as well. So let's see if this will benefit him in the long run or even the short term. So let's just take a quick look at Twitter at the moment. So like most tech stocks and most stocks in general, not just the technology sector, but any sector, they had this great rebound. We did have a bit of a sell-off at the end of the month, end of October, if I just remember correctly. Yes, end of October. Their growth did not hit as the expectations that they wanted to, and in fact it fell by 21%. So basically the Twitter accounts that they were hoping that people would open did not come into fruition, so we had quite a big drop at that time. So it has recovered quite nicely, but not to the extent that it wanted to be. So I just want to zoom in on the areas of interest at the moment. We're not seeing too much of too many clues, let's say, on the momentum indicator. But what I can see is if prices keep pushing upwards, then there is the case for a bit of a hidden bullish divergence here if things keep going the same way. But we've seen a bit of a confluence with the base and conversion line of the Ichimoku indicator. Prices are now trading in between those two indicators and are submerged in the cloud. So this could be a good indication of a breakout. At the moment, I'm seeing only one way that it's going to recover slowly but surely. It's looking to fill this gap here of roughly about $10, which is what it fell at the end of the month. But with things being the way they are with the US presidency, I think a lot of investors are looking at Twitter to see if it's still going to be as popular without Donald Trump. So I'll be looking at these levels here if we're going to get another attempt at the high $40 range, high $30 range. And then if we're going to start pushing up even further to the top board of the cloud, which is roughly about $45. So I'll be looking at this probably in the next couple of trading sessions. And also if we can recap this whole black hole, let's say, when the stock fell by 21% at the end of last month. So this will be interesting in the next couple of weeks as well, if we can get to those ranges. And a quick look on Facebook as well. So I touched on it last week because I was very impressed on how well it had performed after the pandemic crisis of the first wave, and with the big technology sector sell-off at the end of August and in September as well. So last time I put a slight ascending channel on this, and what I'm seeing now is there is a possibility that it will hold in this channel, because the last time I looked at it, the prices were engulfed in the cloud, which meant that we were just waiting to see what the next clues were. I've had some slight divergences on the momentum indicator, so we're just waiting now to see if these are going to come into fruition, and to see what the consequences are if we can stay in this ascending channel, or if prices are just going to dip slightly and test this upper border once again. If the border follows this ascending channel, then it could mean that prices still have a risk of being dragged back down to what they were probably around this area here, which was at the end of September. So you're looking at probably $245 if it's going to start pushing back down again as a support. However, I fully expect it to stay in this range and keep pushing higher. So I'll be looking at that towards the end of the week just to see what the potentials are. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. And if you have any comments, please feel free to add them to the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.